me about the new one.
We are live. Dare I say we're live? Welcome to the show, everyone. It's another phenomenal Tuesday. We're here at VodPod Media. My name is Maximo, as always, your host. I use pronouns he, him, his, if you didn't know. But I'm here with my two guests that you may or may not know. To just your neighborhood. She said she's small potatoes. I think she's big potatoes. Ana de Luna and Marisela Barrera, welcome to the show. It's always a pleasure to have y'all here with us. What's really good tonight? How y'all feeling?
I was a little tired, but now I'm having a Modelo, so it's better.
You got to get that energy. This isn't NPR radio. Welcome to VodPod Media.
Well, you know, I'm like, have a new vitamin regimen, and it's B12/B6.
So she got the energy.
And I'm like, you know, I went into class the other day, and my student's like, Miss, what's up? Like, you know, you drink a lot of coffee or Red Bull? And I'm like, it's B12, y'all. And it's good.
I gotta get
She got the good stuff. And we ain't talking about the gas station B12. We talking about the good stuff. Welcome, everyone. We are getting ready for another phenomenal night here at VodPod. I just got to say, follow, like, comment, share, as always. You know, it's a blessing to do business, good business like this every week. Big shout out to Gylan Jackson. We got our man Jaden in the house. If you don't know who Jaden is, we're going to introduce you to him by the end of the night. He said he's 6'3" in shoes. So I said, so are you like 6'2"? He's like, yeah, I guess I'm 6'2".
Let's get him some heels then.
Oh, we're going to get him some heels. And I told him earlier, I was listening over, you know what other song was stuck in my head was the Bobby Brown Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack. For some reason, that song was stuck in my head, On Your Own. I don't know if y'all know that song. We're going to play that before the end of the night. But listen, let's just get into it. Tell me how y'all are feeling. Tell me a little bit. It's so funny because Anna, when we came in, was like, well, I guess I'll take a beer, which led to Madi bringing in a 6-pack.
Well.
She brings in a 6-pack like, hey, let's get it going. So like, we're here. We're getting ready for a good night, but tell us, you know, how you feeling? What's on your mind tonight? Do you have any confessions you'd like to make?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I would just like to thank you for having me on your show. I've been wanting to do it, and I'm so glad Marisela is here because I was nervous about being on the show. And and then also just apologize in advance if I burp because I'm drinking beer.
You weren't supposed to talk about that.
A true Tejana burps while she drinks beer.
Oh, yeah. Or I hope I don't do anything else. I guess if I want to start off with a confession, because Marisela wants us to start off with confessions. Okay, so last week I had a gig. This is confession. I'm embarrassed, but I had a gig. And I was doing my mother's a play I wrote about my mom and her childhood immigrant experience, and it was for this equity fellowship program with the San Antonio Area Foundation, and they brought us over to this really great hotel in Bernie.
Yeah.
And so I went with Mike Ryan, and we did a shortened version of my show. And then we were just there, and then afterwards they were like, hey, we have a couple of extra hotel rooms. Do you guys want to like...
Hey, let's get swanky.
You know, so I asked Mike, and I was like, do you want to spend the night? They got a couple extra rooms.
It's getting good. It's getting good, y'all. It's getting good.
So this does not...
Raise up the volume.
This does not end in Mike and I sharing a hotel room together. Marisela.
There's the confession.
Even though he's one of my favorite exes. But the confession is they also had like, they were like, oh, well, come hang with us, and you know, in the suites. We have a party suite.
Wow.
And so they had like wine and cheese and everything like that. And then Mike and I ended up closing it down.
Ooh.
And they were like, oh, no one's going to come in this room after tonight because we're all leaving tomorrow or whatever. But they left like this big ass, like, 24-pack of water in there, and then a couple of bottles of wine.
Nice.
And then some like bags of sandwiches and stuff like that. And we took them.
Nothing wrong with that. So that's the confession?
Can I
confession.
make a confession about Anna in a minute?
Okay, wait. And then one more confession. When we left the hotel room, I took a roll of toilet paper because I did not have any toilet paper at my house, and I didn't want to have to stop at the store. Okay, there.
Yeah, but you can take the toilet paper from the hotel
No,
rooms.
I did not have sex. Okay.
We were getting to that.
I'm changing the rules a little bit, if I may. How about I now give a confession like that Anna did that reminded me. Because
Hey, we're live now. Be careful.
Madres for a long time, and then you could do the same for me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna confess something that Anna did. It's
And
not
like I
my
said, to be careful here.
It's not my confession, but one time we went to a theater conference in Dallas, and Dallas was sort of my homeland, like for a while. I spent the entire 90s in the Dallas, okay? I was like, doing naked Shakespeare in the parking lot and also dancing in the same dance floor as Vanilla Ice. But anyways, that was the 90s. So Dallas is my babe, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, the whole gang from San Antonio was over there doing this conference, and we're
I remember.
there was a Spurs game going on. It was
I know what you're gonna
playoffs.
say.
It was finals. We needed to watch this shit. You know what I'm saying? And so we ditched whatever play was going on, fantastic play from probably somewhere else in the country. And we're like, we have to watch the Spurs game. So the entire San Antonio contingency went over to McKinney Avenue, which is sort of hoity-toity part of Dallas, uptown they call it, right? Uptown. We went uptown, but then we went downtown. Anyways, we went into this place. San Antonio was winning. I guess the Dallas team was losing, and so everyone from Dallas was bailing out. And then it was sort of a ritzy type place, so there was barely drinks on the table, appetizers that were barely touched. We were 3-4 beers in at this point, and Anna was like, "What? Look at all this stuff. Look at this stuff."
You remember the story?
And it's like, oh my God. Anna eats a stranger's nacho off the tail. Oh, this is good. Oh, you all, don't be like that. This is cool. Puro rascuache, San Antonio.
Yeah.
So we devoured this.
Everybody, I can't remember everyone else devoured. I guess I had to start it. I had to get it going.
No, Anna, you
started.
started it, and you
ended it.
we're really in until we were maybe I had to get a beer further in before I decided to go for it myself.
So there ain't nothing wrong with taking some appetizers that ain't gonna get ate anyway.
Yeah, they were.
You know what I'm saying? They don't matter.
Okay.
I'm the type of dude. Listen, I'll give you fair warning. If I'm not invited to the wedding, if I'm not invited to the reception, I will crash it at a certain hour anyway because it doesn't matter.
Why not?
All you gotta do is show up and do the groove and do the dance, and then you say, "Hey, I was invited," and then it doesn't matter at a certain time anyway.
I might add, this is pre-COVID times. We didn't even know the plague was coming. This was
That's true.
10 years. I don't think I would do the same thing now. Just FYI, PSA for all the sort of gente out there.
We are
Maybe I would
mindful.
make a different
We are mindful of that. But here, okay, let's get back to it. I want to get back and reframe this and really kind of paint the context here if I can. We're talking about theater. You had a show. We're talking about a theater conference. I want to hear how y'all first knew. When was that moment when you knew okay, I want to do theater? Or not, maybe it wasn't theater, maybe it was storytelling, maybe it was hey, I got a future of getting up in front of people because, listen, theater's hard as shit. You get one take when you're on stage and it's you got to get it right. It's tough. You got to bring it. And I'm here with two very, prominent, I would say, well-accomplished actors.
Maybe I should sit like this now.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll start talking like this.
Y'all are chingonas
match.
when it comes to being on
Look, we
stage. When saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do this," because I've known both y'all to be, trailblazers, to be one person shows. Hey, I'm gonna do my thing. You have a whole resume of the last 4 shows that you've done that are badass shows.
Aw, thanks. Well, I guess if you want to go back to why did you decide to do this? I don't know. I just remember when I was a little girl, maybe 4 or 5 years old. There was a TV program, Caras Colendas, and I would run around in, the house, singing the songs and then there was a Little Rascals show, and I would watch that, and I would think I want to be on the Little Rascals. Oh my God, I'm getting a little warm just admitting it. I'm so shy about it, And I grew up out 30 miles south of San Antonio, on the Rancho, and it was just all of that, just thinking I want to be doing what they're doing. I want to be on TV. I just thought that's just not even a reality. That's just a fantasy. So I never like asked my parents to pursue it. And we were poor. We were out in the rancho. What could they do anyway? There's nothing to do out there. But imagine, and just like play, and just create on your own. And so we did a lot of that growing up. And then I was super shy as well. So I didn't really finally I just kind of burst. I was like, I got to do this. Not until college, and I did a lot of plays with other people. I was so terrible at first. I remember going to my first audition and my leg was just shaking violently.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I couldn't even speak. And then after a while, I just couldn't, I don't know why people cast me in that state. I was just
this is New
shaking
York,
so
right?
much. No, this was here in San Antonio,
Okay.
Before I went to New York. And, but anyway, I practiced, gotten more shows. And then I decided I hadn't been trained properly. So I went to New York and that helped a lot. So I got trained out there and, but I really missed San Antonio and came back. And just loved doing Chicano theater stuff that was very personal to me. And then after a while, I just remembered always hearing little monologues in my head, and then thinking, what, I want to write a show about some of the stuff I've experienced. And my first show was called Chingona Atheists, my first solo show. And I just wrote about what it was like growing up in South Texas, being an atheist, especially in a very Catholic, Mexican-American household. And there were so many funny stories. There were some harrowing stories too. But I just felt there was this fire in my belly. I just felt like I was going to explode if I didn't share these stories.
Jeez.
Yeah, no, that's, it's just it's just got to happen. There was really no choice, in a way, And so I don't know if I chose it, it chose me is what I would say. Yeah. And so ever since then, I just keep, just writing about, what I experienced, what I know. I do a lot of work in the AIDS field we can talk about later. And then, if I've done a lot of traveling, I wrote a show about being in the Middle East and seeing women fighting for their rights out there. And then now just coming back, very close to home, sharing my mother's story. It's just been an incredible experience to be able to perform on your own. It's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah, it's
you got no one else to lean on.
Yeah, my last show I fell down. I fell on my knees as part of the show, and then in the middle of the show my knee just started burning really badly. And I was like, oh, that's okay. It's gonna stop burning. And that's how life is. You hurt yourself and it hurts for a few seconds and then it goes away. But it wasn't going away. But it wasn't okay, I can exit stage left after this scene because I'm the only one in the play. You know what I mean? So I had to just, I'm having this whole monologue in my head, and then I'm giving a monologue at the same time.
No, it's deep.
And so it kind of takes a toll on your body. I think I ended up tearing a meniscus,
Jeez.
But yeah, that's just part of it. You just got to take care of yourself. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it.
So it takes some courage to put pen to paper, write a show, and then to produce it on your own, to get it funded, to get up there and tell these stories. Because we're not talking about just fluff stories. I mean, we're talking deep stories with the mission. One of your recent shows, you were talking about an anarchist, or you wrote about a revolutionary anarchist.
Yeah, well, this guy, Ricardo Flores Magón, his 100-year anniversary of his death / murder from the U.S. government at Leavenworth Prison, because he was supposedly making very, it was all his writings that caused him to be imprisoned, where he died on November 21st, 100 years ago.
So that was yesterday.
Yesterday, 100
Yeah, that was yesterday.
So my work is now evolved from, you're asked about roots or origins of teatro. The origins of my teatro were, come to a toddler when I was dressed up as San Martín de Porres as a little kid. So that was my first persona. My grandmother made a promesa to San Martín de Porres because I had survived a childhood, I guess, near-death experience because I was sent home to die. And so she made a promise that she would dress me up every single day for a year and make little vestidos for all the babies at the little, who were sick as well here in San Antonio. and she and I survived. I'm here. And so that legacy of that story really impacted me, and seeing pictures of me as a little saint, growing up. So I've always had like a little bent to the performative, angle of interacting with people. I am more like perhaps honest and truthful in front of people, a group of people, than I am like off stage, perhaps. So I could argue that it's really been ingrained in my system since my near-death experience, that I don't remember, but I hear stories about. But it's in my muscles. It's in my muscle memory. So that's my muscle memory, is performative storytelling, is grandma, abuelita, telling me these stories that you have a purpose here. And we all have purpose, and we have to share our stories. And so from the roots of that, my anarchist grandma, like getting a divorce when women didn't
get divorces.
Yeah.
Right?
And raised my mom and my mom's cousin as a single parent. To me now, raising my own daughter, chingona, as a single parent, not by design, but by, just being, of course, like an anarchist, much like Ricardo Flores Magón. So that's why his story is so sort of resonant to me. So I think I gravitate to stories that are resonant in terms of obsessions, in terms of historical like significance, and all of the writing for me is research. And so that's it. It's about revolution. It's about sort of questioning how we can but fight for an equitable, and not equality, equitable society. And that's why Ricardo Flores Magón's story is so resonant in my life, because that's what I try to fight for.
Yeah. And so, listen, for one, let's cheers to Marisela not dying, because I don't know what this world would be like without her. We can't have it.
There's my confession there.
Hey, so before we started the show, Marisela said we're going to have to go around and give some confessions. We'll get to the confessions later, but cheers to the rebel spirit. Cheers to bucking trends. One of the other things I wanted to talk about is, this week is Thanksgiving, quote unquote Thanksgiving, thankstaking, National Day of Mourning, or Thursday, depending on how you look at it. There is a framework that we live in under that rebel spirit of being chingona, whatever. I want to talk about that as well. But, embodying that anarchist that's in all of us to say, we're going to decolonize Thanksgiving, right? We're not going to think about it in the traditional sense, right? I hear that amongst all of our people in our communities and our circles. Well, the other day, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I made the mistake of going into HEB, and it was the evening time, and it's madness there. It's madness at the HEB because everyone's getting turkeys and the stuffing. The lines are backed up a mile long, and I'm thinking like,
parking lot's bad.
The parking lot's got security, SWAT.
If I could interject,
Come on
also then the prices of all this commodities is up at least 30% from like just 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
So that is devastating. That is why, like the legacy of anarchism, just sort of fighting for equitable, the working class issues, that we face here. We all face that's important.
Yeah. And we are looking for economic freedom. We're looking for, economic equality, opportunity, all of those things, which is in that same vein. If you're watching this, go ahead and comment and let us know what you're doing this Thursday. I'm just curious. What are people doing on Thursday? Do you get together with your family? Is it a day that you feel you should be extra thankful? Are you considering, how the Wampanoag people on the Northeast United States welcomed a group of immigrants with shelter and food and clothing and all of those things? What are we doing on Thursday? I'm wondering, are we just watching the Cowboys game? What do y'all think? What are y'all doing? Do y'all have plans? Because again, we're talking about anarchism, we talk about atheism, we talk about being courageous enough to do this work of bearing your soul on stage every time you step up to the plate, which is, listen, I've seen y'all work. Y'all are doing some heavy shit every time you go on stage, right? We're not talking about Sesame Street. with all due respect to the puppeteers. And,
Yeah, they're pretty badass. Yeah.
you know, they are badass.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's really good? What do you got going on this Thursday? I guess is what I'm wondering.
I'm going to Rancho. So my mother always has Thanksgiving there, and she always makes the traditional Thanksgiving meal. No tamales, that's for Christmas Eve, you know, because she's a big tamalera, you know. But, you know, and it's just nice because we have a little bit of land out there. So, you know, you just get to be out there in nature. Probably we're keeping it small ever since COVID, everything. Normally we would have all the cousins come over, but because of COVID, we keep it pretty tight. And my family, even though they go and they see my stuff, whenever I go over there, they never ask me anything about my art. They don't care. They're just
See,
like,
but that's what I'm alluding to, because I feel like we're like our families look at us like we have 10 heads when we show up to Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah. But they end up just talking about, like, you know, just sort of, oh, have you seen any movies lately?
Basics.
Or, yeah, you know, and I'm like, well, you know. And then they talk about church a lot. And I'm like, okay, you know, I bring a bottle of wine and I'm like the only one drinking it. My family's really like nerdy. I mean, they're so nerdy.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But it's great. You know, I mean, I'm glad they're nerdy and there's not lunch at Beach Head Drama. You know what I mean? Like everyone getting all fucked up.
Well, there's a lot of drama. There's a lot of stress and drama these times of years as well.
Yeah. So that's what I'll be doing, just going to the rancho. Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, it's good. I like it. It's nice, you know, and it's comfortable. I'll get to see my nieces and my brothers and everybody on the compound.
What you got?
Well, I've disjointed myself from my family. It was July 4th of 2020 when I last spoke with my brothers. And so there's not a home for the family. My home is my home. Mm-hmm. And my home is my daughter. And so because she has two families, me, the micro family that includes me, Concha, and Chichi, the perros.
I thought there was the cat.
There's no cat. There's no cat. Anna has the cat.
I got the cat.
But so we do brunch, like you know, she's a pescatarian. As
your daughter is.
Mm-hmm. She's been a
shout out to Inez too. Yeah. I know you're watching. I hope you're watching.
She's
get down with the cool dad.
She's at the
parents.
Judas Priest concert.
What?
Yeah. She's like,
dude, she's more hip than us.
I know.
Yeah, she's at that new center in the South Side down the street from her grandmother's house. Yeah, so yeah, she's out over there enjoying that. We have brunch. We have a champagne toast.
Nice.
And now, as an 18-year-old young adult, she gets to drive herself to her grandma's in the South Side down Quintana Road and meet her father and have fabulous turkey, you know, sort of dinner over there. And then she comes home after dark. I'm a little like, you know, sort of relaxed. I'm going to practice all day. I'm playing, you know, practicing guitar. And she's going to bring the abuelita plate.
Wow.
Oh, yes. So
you're gonna get some good
am
leftovers.
I a maker or an eater? I'm an eater, everybody.
But that's good though. And I'm all about like new traditions and honoring and respecting our you know, our households and our people the way we do. You mentioned, what did you say? Disjointed?
Yeah.
Is that the word you used?
I did use that word, yeah.
Like, that's all love. It's all respect,
Yeah,
you know, like empowering. I'm glad that you did that because you're living the life you want to as well.
It's a life of not being judged. It's a life of new traditions. I love that because like for the past, 10, 15 years, I've been going to the Esperanza Peace and Justice Center's Peace Market and working.
The next day, right?
And emceeing, yeah. And so I'm working there. So that's my thing. I'm in town Friday and Saturday, working, you know, like enjoying the best of San Antonio's music, roots music, and then also our international vendors from all over Latin America, and enjoying friends. You know, the friends here, you know, that are in person, you know, flesh and blood in front of me. Those are the people I connect with, you know, and those people that are puro cultura, sort of, and also very conscious of this struggle that we have to be equitable, more equitable in our society.
There's a lot of struggles that we have. We speak about capitalism. It's funny because there are no Black Friday deals anymore. The deals have already started. Like, they want you to shop and buy now. Have you noticed that? It's funny too, because we were watching television the other day, and they're showing Christmas movies, and they're showing Christmas specials, Christmas deals that you can purchase. And I'm like, well, what happened to Thanksgiving? And it's funny because the message for me is that our people, and what I mean by our people is people that live in this country, are not truly grateful. We're not truly grateful. We're gluttons. We just want. All we want is to consume and give me more.
Yeah.
And it's just like a shame. It's a shame. But at the same time is that you're right. Let's reformulate. Let's look at the true, missions that we're up against right now. One of the things is houselessness, in this weather.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, let's talk about how cold it is in San Antonio right now. I'm probably going to look at a record low temperature this winter in just, in South Texas, what's considered South Texas, know. So it's complicated.
It is so complicated. It is. And you can, like, we have a finite number of hours, in our days, and rest and self-care is important. And things to take care of yourself, myself, in order to take care or be present to community. That's important too. So there's a lot, there's a lot of, we have a lot of shit to do.
Yeah. So if you're eating turkey this Thursday, good for you. If you're celebrating in whatever fashion that you do with your family, good for you. If you're shopping for deals, good for you. If you're going out tomorrow, because tomorrow is like the biggest bar night in America. Did y'all know that? Wednesday night is the biggest bar night in America.
I'm taking my cat to the vet.
Yeah, well, Anna's not going to the bar. We're getting frisky right here with our drinks.
I know, tonight's my biggest bar night.
Yeah, karaoke.
The Lighthouse tonight, karaoke.
Karaoke, everybody.
But I mentioned those things because somebody recently asked me, well, like, what are you trying to do with this show? They said, what are you doing with this podcast? And I said, you know what I would like? I would like us to have the opportunity for 1 hour every week to drop some conscious knowledge on the masses of people in the sea of TMZ, of gossip, of chisme, of drama, of stress, of loneliness, despair, all of the evil and bad things out there in society, which there is a lot of. And the internet gets the shine with that because people love the negative, the drama sells, the clickbait.
Yep.
We have stayed true to ourselves right here, and we've only been able to do it with badass people like y'all coming to the table and just talking about what it really is, right? We don't got to be like, gossip and this and all this, negative stuff. We're just here being real, being honest, and telling our true stories. When we talk about storytelling, the show that you just performed, your latest show, is about your mother. Why was it important for you to do that show?
So it's called Carmen from Mexico, and it's my mother's childhood immigrant story, and it shares the story of her being brought across from Mexico to Texas in the 1950s by my abuela, and so she was like an original dreamer, and I don't know, just growing up, she would just always share like these stories of crossing over and adapting to life. And some of it, I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. That's wild. That's a crazy story. And some of it was very harrowing, but some of it was really kind of funny too. She just has a way of sharing those experiences. And for a few years, I had been like interviewing her already because I knew I wanted to do something with it. And other theater companies were interviewing her and doing something with it. And I was like, well, shit, that's my mama's story. I want to do something with it, And it was important to me, I think, because, when Trump was running for president, there was he reignited a lot of anti-immigrant sentiment. Yeah. And that was like, ooh, this is, really terrible. And so I just wanted to bring light to, these incredible stories of and beautiful people persevering and showing the world that, hey, immigrants make America great, and so that was real important to me.
And it was a heartfelt story because
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
depicting your mother.
Yeah, I play my mom. I play a bunch of like my abuela. I play a ton of other characters, and so I play my mom from the time she's like, I don't know, maybe 5 till about like 15, and it was really beautiful because it was just like the most personal thing. Because imagine writing a show about your mom.
Yeah.
That's pretty like, it's pretty special. And then she came, and saw and everything. And it's a very emotional story. It's a beautiful story. I'm like super proud of it. And hopefully, we'll, get off my ass and be able to share it more.
You will, because somebody that's watching this show right now is going to book Anna for a live performance.
It's a good show. I have to say, I'm not, like I never really toot my own horn, but that's a good show.
So
That's
Anna's
a
being
good
super
show.
humble right
Yeah.
now. She's being super humble right now because
Yeah.
I'll tell you another Anna story. So a couple years ago, we're at the Jumpstart performance party. And this was like probably 7-8 years ago. And you're hosting it. You're emceeing the whole show. I show up, do a little bit of spoken word, talking some shit on the mic like I do best. And later on in the night, there's this like fucking drunk person performing a monologue on stage. And I'm like, dude, is this part of the show? Like, what the hell's going on? And everyone's like some people are paying attention. Half the people are like laughing because of the interaction. It's like, dude, there's a hobo on stage right now. Like, what's going on? And I said, Madi, like, what's happening right here? She goes, yeah, isn't it great? It's Anna. And I'm like, what the hell? This is Anna's got a Spurs jersey on, and she's like drunk on stage.
I remember that.
What show is that? I mean, what is this monologue?
Well, that was like it was. I have another character. It's called the Spurs Vato, and he just developed. I remember one time when, oh my God, that one terrible game. I'm sorry to bring it to everybody's attention again, but when the Spurs lost to the Lakers with 0.02 seconds.
It
on
always
the
goes back to the
clock,
Spurs here in
yeah.
San Antonio.
And I just remember, like, I was like trying to catch the end of that game, and I was like, outside this bar in San Antonio somewhere. And then they lost to Derek Fisher.
Yeah, that was a sweet left-handed shot.
But it was all like controversial, like, oh, the buzzer didn't go, whatever,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. But I remember I was like outside, and all these guys came out, and they were just like shooting the shit, like pissed off, and really just sort of like saying all these crazy things. So I was like, oh my God, this is like a scene, And so I just decided, oh, you know what, we do a lot of gender bender sort of things, like we like dress up as men quite often. and that was like one of the things I was like, I'm gonna be the Spurs guy, and then one of the guys that night was trying to pick me up, and so
Wait.
after talking shit about he's a Spurs guy, and he was talking shit about his own team.
Wait, did he see you as a
girl?
what
He saw
gender?
me as a girl.
Oh, okay,
This was
okay.
when I was like a girl, just woman. And I just was hilarious.
So you got out of drag.
And so then I wrote,
And then you were
went
picked
home
up.
and like, you know what I mean? Typed it all up. And then, so that's just a scene. And it's called the $0.04. And and so it's just about the Spurs guy, but Spurs guy comes back every once in a while and shoots the shit about stuff, and so I got the jersey, my Ginobili jersey, and I got whatever the like low hanging shorts and the socks and the crazy hat and then the got there whatever, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, part of what startled me, it was like the makeup and everything was so good. You were completely, I mean, you look nothing like yourself. You look nothing like you look right now. And I was just like, what the hell's going on?
It's a lot of fun being
Oh,
a guy.
you nailed it.
Yeah.
You smashed it. You smashed it. But, it's funny because, man, listen, Madi, I know these ladies just being funny and, being on stage and just being, man, out there. You did a video portion of a show. Mm-hmm. And it was La Lechuza.
Yeah.
That was some badass shit.
Yeah, you were in that show.
I
You
remember-
played the guy.
Dude, you are fucking hilarious. Where do you come up with this shit?
Man, it's this like borderline, like, Twilight dreams. Like I always take a nap after I wake up, and so like like maybe even a 30-minute nap, like at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to go back to sleep because that's when the craziest
dreams
ideas happen. Yes. And my dogs are fed and they're not bothering me. And so all this wild shit comes in my mind right there.
Oh, that's
you
a
know,
good
in these
time.
times. Yeah.
Or
so,
it's like you remember your dreams and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit, that was some crazy
well, see, and
shit.
that's the whole
Yeah.
thing with that opening
Yeah.
monologue. Gente de mis dreams, agar some
Oh,
manos.
yeah.
Andale. You remember that? No
I
tiene
don't. You're
mucho
bringing it back.
miedo. Da, 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 da. So it was like that whole thing, and you playing the gallo, you know, that was really the roots of the donkey lady, you know, because that was the first time I wrote about her.
So tell our audience more about the donkey lady and who she is, what she represents,
yeah.
because some people don't know, you know, and
It's-
you have, listen, that makake that you wear, the mask, if I can I say it's a mask or is just who you turn into after midnight?
It's prosthetics that it's that Twilight era, you know, area, because I'm not, I don't know what happens, but she, you know, it's a transformation. It's an it's a persona like unlike I've ever experienced before in terms of an actor getting into a character. And so she's an urban legend here that if you Google Donkey Lady, the first references are about the 70s. And there's different versions of the Donkey Lady in San Antonio. Of course, we know the Donkey Lady Bridge, which is the classic San Antonio version by the Texas A&M San Antonio University, by the Toyota plant out in the south side. So that's like an original point of her story, which is a story about a woman scorned, a woman that is deformed by a fire, trying to save her burras, you know, and she's scorned because she was kicked out. She was like, didn't have health care. You know, so she let these burns like sort of inform her. And of course she raised donkeys, you know, and she lived off the land. But there's other stories about her, like in Alamo Heights, even, yes,
Wow.
before it was so developed, like by Windcrest. There's another version of the Donkey Lady over there. So there was like multiple Donkey Ladies, but there's also ancient like legends about half donkey, half women. You know, we in most cultures, there's always like a half animal, half human,
Yeah.
right? And so we're seeing the creation of our own version of that Greek myth, of that Mesoamerican, like ancient, you know, myth of us going into our animal form, human form, and trying, like, there's a choque that happens because we are animals,
Yeah.
right? We're human though, we're conscious. So that's what she represents, you know, but hey, you know, she's out to get you, you know, if you're gonna, especially like this, she's telling me now she's looking out for, you know, men that's gonna be like out dissing their baby mamas, like, you know, like two-timing, all that shit, you know, just be honest. You know, if you're gonna live that lifestyle, just get out of the relationship, brah, or, you know, like, be honest and see where it goes, and if not, adios, you know.
So if you're at karaoke tonight, you see the Donkey Lady, just stop singing and go the other way. And I'm going to watch my back as I go out to my car this evening. It's getting darker in San Antonio sooner now. So I got to ask, and listen, you're touching on some good subjects. We have these mythological creatures and legends that are in our culture. And listen, I want to say that the piece that you wear is incredible. If you haven't seen it, folks, find her on social media and look at this piece. And how, do you have any video of like a performance online?
Now, well, I have a short film, and so we're gonna have a screening at the Slab Cinema Art House
That's
at
right.
Blue Star, and that's gonna be December 18th at 7:30, and it's gonna be like just like $5, like just to come in and see. So she has the premiere of her Donkey Lady show. And because she's the Donkey Lady, she could have anyone in the world, whether alive or dead, as her guests. So her first guest is Ricardo Flores Magon, our anarchist that we were talking about earlier. So we'll be screening this at Blue Star, 7:30, December 18th. There's going to be karaoke afterwards. But before then, we're also, she's going to make an appearance with holiday pictures. So
Wow.
families of up to like bring all of them.
Bring the kids to sit on not Santa's lap, the donkey
Yeah,
lady's
donkey's
lap.
lady's lap. And I'll tell you what, the premier rocker photographer, JoJo dancer Anthony Garcia, is going to be taking the photos.
Wow.
So, well, actually, the tickets are live already to buy a slot. So you have to buy a slot. So we don't like people waiting in line. So you come at your designated time. You take a picture. She's gonna give you cheese. You're gonna tell her what you want, who you want to like her to watch for.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We're getting
Say
deep
who
in
you
here.
want.
Yeah,
We're getting deep.
Who you're gonna be watching? Who does donkey lady
Who does she
watching?
need to watch?
Yes. Who does she need to watch?
Who does she need to hold accountable? Oh,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
All
So like
right.
people are gonna be telling
Yeah.
her all this stuff, and she's gonna be absorbing all this energia. There's gonna be sage going in around, and 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 then the photos that you could post online.
All right.
Yeah, instead of like bearded white dude, bra. Go ahead and take a pic with the donkey lady.
The donkey lady's coming to town.
Yes.
She knows who's been telling the truth.
That's
she knows
right.
who's
Benatti.
Exactly. So let's talk about World AIDS Day.
Oh yeah,
It's coming up.
Yeah. So I do theater, but I also work part time at the San Antonio AIDS Foundation, and I've been like an HIV test counselor for quite a few years, and because of that, I started. I was also educating people about HIV and sexually transmitted infections, and it was awesome. And but from all that experience, there are some amazing stories. So I ended up writing this show called The AIDS Lady, and so I'm also known as the AIDS Lady. Everywhere I go, people are like, "Hey, the AIDS Lady's here." And so it's a show I do about like awareness and to reduce stigma and to encourage people to get tested for HIV. And I'm gonna be like out and about. So next week, World AIDS Day is December 1st, which also happens to be my birthday,
Hey.
and it's a day. It's a day to
It's
to
a convergence.
Yeah.
Stuff.
So that's how I got into the HIV
you
business.
go.
It was just meant to be. But there are going to be many events going on. If you have a family member or friend that you want to remember, there's going to be the City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District on December 1st at Mission Marquee Plaza is going to have an event out there. I'll be out there as well, just promoting safe sex and our home test kits. We have oral swab test kits. You can test yourself at home now and get results in 20 minutes, and they're free, which is
Ooh.
amazing. Yeah. And then we also are collaborating. The San Antonio AIDS Foundation is also collaborating with Alamo Area Resource Center, which is another HIV service provider in town. And we're going to be at the Bottom Exchange, and they're hosting what they call a red party, which is something that's not just like, oh, we're crying because everybody we know has died of AIDS and we're going to remember them. They're like, hey, let's party and celebrate them.
Yeah.
So we're going to be out there with them doing that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Tickets there are $10 for that. It's a really good deal. And
Wait,
and
only
then-
$10?
Only $10 for
That's
the bottom. Yeah, it's
great.
gonna be really nice. And then the next day, I believe, Jumpstart the Blue Star Arts Complex with David Zamora Casas at in one of the what is it called, the Ali Ali Theater. They're going Ali Ali Gallery. They're going to be like trying to do something to commemorate AIDS as well. I'll be there for that. And then on the December the 3rd, we will be at the Fiesta Youth event at Woodlawn Point, for their event commemorating. It's like, the youth LGBTQ community. So there's a lot of events going on. I will be there for all of them. I'll be very tired, but I love working on my birthday. It's just so much, it's like the best way. I mean, people go, oh, I'm going to go and I don't know, go to the spa, and that's nice too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just love, being a service, especially.
True.
That's a really good way to spend your birthday, is to serve. Yeah.
Way to honor your life and your living
and then
your
we
spirit.
have
Love
and then
that.
I was doing a lot of AIDS lady shows, and that kind of came to an end for a bit during the pandemic. And then I was able to do some video stuff that was actually really cool. I would dress up as a Catrina de Sida, And I would, do some performance with David Zamora Casas in his really beautiful Dia de los Muertos altares and his installations. And so that was pretty amazing. We were trying to creatively, still like spread the message, but, I guess via Zoom and everything like that. But this time, we want to try to like get out there and be with people again. And in March, actually, I booked a show at Northwest Vista College for AIDS Ladies. So now the live stuff is coming back, because for a while it was all like, oh my God, we're gonna, stream these videos. And now, it's good to do that, but there's nothing like live theater.
Absolutely.
What date? That's my home base.
That's going to be in late March. I can't remember the exact date. Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be a powerhouse. We are hosting also at Northwest Vista College Denise Chavez.
Oh, cool. I love Denise Chavez.
Denise Chavez?
Yeah.
From UTSA?
She's actually from Las Cruces, New Mexico, and she's a novelist, playwright, performer. She wrote Loving Pedro Infante. She has something called the Taco Chronicles, which was one of the first books to incorporate recipes along with narratives, like memoir. And so that's pretty dynamic. I think Women's History Month at Northwest Vista College is going to be rocking.
Yeah, probably, like, because the show I do, I talk about myself and being in that field, but then like it interchanges. Like I write about somebody that's HIV positive, and sometimes it's a man, sometimes it can be a woman. So maybe for that one, it'd be a woman.
Yeah, it's Women's History Month that month.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Do you have the date?
December
we'll get the
20
date.
Something.
I thought you said it's in March.
I'm sorry, March 27th.
Okay, so March, we got some time.
Okay.
Follow these individuals on social media for more updates on live shows, performances, how you can book them. Also, I gotta ask, because Madi mentioned it the other day, is what's up with those online dating profiles? Who wrote those, and who did y'all invite to the house? Because let me tell you, you mentioned to me that you've got some DMs and some crazy stories, and I just know people are stepping to y'all sideways when they're trying to come hang out with y'all. You already talked about some guys trying to pick you up at some bar. What's going on?
I'll tell you now that I've sort of publicly been out in terms of learning guitar, it's like, man, that's cool. That's a good way to get to know guys.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So she's inviting all the boys to the yard.
Like, yeah, well, music lesson, but an app like this one that I'm like just on, I've never met anyone off Hinge. I don't know if anyone out there is like a Hinge member, but this one is really strange.
Is it raunchy?
It's like getting a little raunchy, and it's sort of interesting because where was I? I was talking to Anna at some event with some other women from the community, like leaders, like that. I'm like, well, oh yeah, they're single. Like, oh yeah, all my friends are on Hinge. So I went and try it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, 20 somethings are really like, this is apparently the place for cougars, like
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
So
like,
you're finding
really?
success. You're finding success on Hinge.
No, I'm not finding success on. I am not a cougar. I consider myself, equal opportunity dater.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely in the dating mode. I'm not looking for a man to solve my problems or to be part of my equation. I've lived this long by chingazos and surviving them. I would love a partner, like a man who's actually a partner, and we like text each other during the day and like talk, maybe
Sweet
even
nothing text.
or talk about people. That's fine too, or like, hey, what's for dinner? It's like those little sort of wink winks. I'm almost an empty nester. My kid is an adult and almost she wants to get out of San Antonio, and she's worried about me.
She'll be around. She ain't gonna leave for good though.
Yeah, and then I'm taking care of her dog, so there's that, and that's the dog's almost human size, but it's like I don't want to cuddle with the dog. I'd rather cuddle with a man who's like text me, hey, chula, I'm gonna grab dinner for us, and
Yes.
and
And can I massage your neck?
How
at
sweet.
night?
Folks, it's cuddle season. It's cuddle season with caldo and some nice wine by the fire. Message these ladies on Hinge right now.
No.
What is this app? What is the app that the women got to ask first?
Bumble.
That's Bumble.
Now, what's up with that? So does that mean every other app the man has to ask?
No, anyone I think can ask.
So anyone can jump into the DMs and just shoot their shot.
And Bumble was actually founded in Dallas, Texas. And so that's where it's headquartered. And I completely understand that. So there is a little bit of that traditional type of onda, it's rooted, and then but not, because it is online dating. And I have one confession is back in the AOL days, I was Marisalsa. That was my screen name. And I was in my late 20s in Dallas, and I met someone on AOL.
Nice.
And
nice little chat room. Right?
Yeah, he was like 10 years older, not too bad, but anyway, he's from Austin. I'll never forget, but I stood him up. So, online dating there was like, oh my God, we used to answer the ads in the back of the Observer back in the 90s in Dallas, where, it's like people were like the want ads, but they're personals, but then there were crank calls like, no, you can't take it seriously. But now people take it seriously, and you can meet some, I think, quality guys and gals
on Hinge,
or sort of gender fluid, not on Hinge. I think.
True,
I
right? Anybody can date
Hinge,
anybody.
Any online sort of platform. I think
Correct.
the stigma of it is out.
The stigma's gone,
Yeah,
long
the
gone.
stigma's gone. I met my last 3 boyfriends on Bumble.
3. I mean, you're going through these guys like bottles of beer.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are these guys? I gotta know. What are the wildest stories? And no, you don't got to get too personal here. But what are these guys saying to y'all? Because you're telling me that you told me you got some stories. What is going on? What are these guys saying to y'all?
Shall I bring up a chat?
Well, are they disrespectful? I mean, what's going on here?
I mean, okay, there's the spectrum.
She needs another beer to break this ice.
Here you go.
She's got the better.
She's got to break this.
I have the bottle opener.
Come on now, we gotta open them all. We gotta get another one going.
Let me just lay some truth on the gentlemen out there, and also binary.
whoever's stepping to Madi, that's who it is.
I'll tell you this. Can I say the D word?
You can say whatever you want to say.
Dick pics no más no, gente.
Yeah, come on now. That's unacceptable, folks.
That is, you'd be maybe you wouldn't be surprised how many very men or I don't know, maybe women, I don't know, it's like I've never sent a pic of my vagina, it's like I don't find that sexy, and so the same thing about a man's
genitalia,
privates. Yes,
right, come on,
that
let's be honest.
I don't find that sexy. And Anna, let's just do a informal survey. Do you find it sexy?
No, I don't. Oh my God. And that's that. Okay.
I'm sure our viewers think the same.
Okay. So
because we're talking uninvited pictures.
Actually, no, even let's say you're talking and suddenly you see a dick pic.
Oh.
How's the weather?
And suddenly
boom,
suddenly you
full
see
frontal.
I love body positivity. If you go on my Instagram at La Marisela, you can see body positivity. I'm not that's part of me. I'm naked. I'm showing my butt with a little scratch. I'm titty positive. Whatever. It's good body positivity. But that is, I don't know. I guess people have different lines of what's sexy and what's not. You know what I'm saying? And so unsolicited in terms of dick pics is
yeah. So fellas, if you're watching this, stop sending those. Come on now. Yeah. What's wrong with y'all? Have a little respect.
Yeah.
No, I think so Bumble, if anybody doesn't know what that is the dating site where the woman has to make the first move, so you can swipe and then like each other. but then the woman's got like 24 hours to like say, hey, what's up or whatever, you know? And if you don't, 24 hours go by, then they disappear in some weird like black hole on the internet. I don't know where they go.
You lose them.
Yeah.
You'll never see him again.
Well, I tell like my daughter, she's 18, and I'm, mija, I'm 50 years old. Do you want to end up like me on dating sites? You know, she's like, no.
Oh,
no.
She's all freaked out. She's going to get married next year.
Oh my God.
Well, hey, she's getting her first tattoo in December, so I'm supporting that. I'll support, like, you know, if that's what she thinks is the best decision for her, or, you know, like it works for her, I would support her decisions. That getting married at, you know, next
18,
year would
19.
be very
It's just
difficult because I would say get your education first. That would be my advice. But here we are on Hinge, everybody, and it's a lot more like inactive. Like Bumble is more dynamic. You know, you get like more swipes, you get more like parameters in terms for free. And that's also another thing for everyone to know, that there's different levels, just like, Twitter. I don't even want to say his name, but that's what he wants to do with his site, you know, have different sort of pain levels.
Yeah.
A lot of dating sites have that. I have right now a text from some guy that I'm just reading. He's like, he says, lucky for you, I'm downtown a lot.
Oh,
and then he says, I like to think we both
Lucky
be
for
lucky.
her.
I think it'd be very therapeutic for us to be friends.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a loaded
Weirdos,
thing.
man.
I'm ready for, you know, another good man, just to be honest, and just be like, hey, let's connect, let's be friends, let's, you know, see where it goes, and be not fantasmas to each other.
Yeah.
Let's not ghost each other.
Yeah.
Come on.
wrong
I
with
had
a
my
good-
ex like ghost me like 5 times, and me como pendeja, I'm like, pobrecito, you know, he wants me back. Okay. It's like,
Well, it was funny because I mean, like, I'm very happy with my life, you know. But you know, you like want to have that special person that you can, you know, like, hey, have dinner with and blah blah blah.
Sure.
You know, it's nice. And so I had never done the dating apps before, and then the pandemic happened. Everyone was like, "Stay home, don't see anybody, don't do anything." And I'm like, I live alone, I have a cat. And so, you know, I felt like the social pariah. I would go outside and walk, and families would, you know, cross the street if they saw, you know. I was like, damn, you know, even the geese would be like, wah, wah, get away from my family, you know. And so I felt like the social
geese.
pariah, pinches. And so, you know, and then my girlfriend had been like on dating apps for a while. I had never done that before. And so they were like, you got to get on this, you got to get on that, you got to get on. I was like, no, I'm so shy. But, you know, with their encouragement, I did do it. And I have to say, like, I don't have a boyfriend yet, but I've met some really, like, interesting men, nice guys, had some interesting experiences, some good, some not so good. Thank God, no dick pics.
Jeez.
And then I was always worried, like,
wow,
oh my God.
Anna, no dick pics.
No dick. Well, you know
Oh
what,
my
one-
God, what is it
you know
about
what?
me then?
You know what?
Jeez.
I do have to say, one time I was talking to this guy, and I was just like having a regular conversation. All of a sudden, he starts like moving the like screen down. And I'm like, and I think I saw like a little bit of.
Oh, was it
something.
FaceTime?
Yeah,
It was like
yeah. And I was like,
you
know?
that's never happened to me. They were static.
I'm just like talking. All of a sudden, I'm like, what is he doing? You know. Anyway, but for the most part, it's nothing bad's happened because I was worried. Oh my God, something bad's gonna happen.
It's that stigma that you know, and
I mean, people, and I was afraid, like, I don't know, my mom's like always, watch out for Ted Bundy, you know.
Yeah.
And then also, like, what I was more worried about was, like, you show up to whatever place, a coffee shop, whatever, to meet somebody, and then they like don't show up. You know, that hasn't happened yet. You know, whatever, everybody showed up so far and stuff. But you know, it's I think that's what you kind of have to do. You got to just like go for it. If you don't put yourself out there personally, professionally, you know, I mean, a lot of stuff's not going to happen. You know,
it's sort of like auditioning. You know, it's
Oh my God,
it's
it's
an
so much
interview.
like an
It's just sort of like, you know,
Yes.
it's okay. You know, if it
Yeah.
doesn't work out, it's
Sometimes
like,
you get a call back. Sometimes you
let's
don't.
not be mean. Let's not be mean. Let's
Yeah.
not ghost each other. Let's just be upfront about it. And, you know, it's like, I'm 50. I've had at least 8 ex-fiancés.
Wow.
Um,
It's a world record.
so,
It
you know,
is.
I'm getting to the point of settling down.
wrong with it.
And it's not about settling down. It's about setting up experiences of just, you know, how much time do we have here? And it's sort of like a philosophical question.
Sure.
We don't know. And I think all of us have learned, we've lost loved ones over the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it sort of set us, like for me, in terms of, wow, moments are precious. Like this
Sure.
moment right here is super precious. What you do connecting, you know, Maximo, just sort of observing how you are even talking to Anna, you know, and me, it's like that matters.
Yeah.
Listening matters. Telling stories matter. You know, this podcast matters because it serves actually also as an archive.
Yeah, it is. It's a moment. It's a show. You know, we're gonna be able to look at this 5 years later and be like, man, you know, like what the hell happened that night, you know, or just, you know, it is an archive. We've had shows. We've been doing these shows for a while, but we've had this moment, right? And I think it's cool to look back on some of the work that you all have done. You know, I've talked about some of these memories of seeing y'all on stage, the work that y'all will continue to do. And so you're right. I mean, listen, it's relationship advice from these truly, right? These two great individuals on everything you need to know, from the 9 fiancés down to someone who's happy with themselves. If you're going to step to someone, folks, do it with some respect and some kindness. That's right. Kick it honest, right?
Yes.
Just as simple as that. So I got to ask, what do y'all think about the term? Because we've been throwing it around, the term chingona.
I'll let her go first with that.
Well, I think I used it like in a sentence,
Yeah.
you know, as you know, in the first 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
So I do believe it's like relevant. It carries weight. It's been reclaimed. I think it is left for a person to use their own choice and to define for themselves. You know, that's very important. I think about identity. If you claim to be a chingona, that's your self identity. So that's right for you. You know, and you're a chingona. Well, what is chingue? That's what, like, someone asked me. I had a visitor at my place earlier with an old poster from Salute, and it said Mari Chingas, which was like my old persona. And does that mean Mari fucker? You know, and Mari the fucker. And I'm like, well, yes, literally.
Yeah.
But it's been reclaimed to mean like we are like in there's strength. You know, there is energy, there is determination, we will slay. That's a Gen Z term.
Gen Z.
Beyond, and I'm like, that's not new. I've been watching RuPaul's Drag Race since like the 2011 or whatever. So it's sort of like claiming that word is to claim your strength. You know, if you don't claim it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I claim it. I'm a Tejana chingona, and I invite everyone to experiment with that word.
I like it. I like the energy behind that, the spirit behind it. For me personally, I thought the term had become to get played out. You know, in a sense, we were using it, and I like the way you just explained it. So now I'm good with it again.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and I personally, for myself, I'm a little bit more reserved, and a little bit more conservative, not politically, just, my, personality. I'm kind of more of a quiet person. And so, sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I'm not chingona enough, know. But then, I see like, Marisela is like super like out there, and I just see somebody who like really goes out there and it goes above and beyond to be that strong force that needs to happen sometimes for like social change, and so I strive to like be more like that, and kind of like break out of my shell a little bit. Sometimes, you see like the people wearing the t-shirts, chingona, whatever. And yeah, you can say, okay, that's been played out a bit. But I try my best now, more than ever to be chingona, in the sense of like really just like not half-assing things or speaking out when something's not right. And then not just like, not really going for what needs to be done, because why not be chingona? Why like kind of play it safe, or why not really like help people? You might as well like really just go for it, because we only live once, and then what are you going to do when it's all over? You're going to look back and say, oh, I kind of, stood up for this and that kind of sort of, but I didn't want to hurt other people's feelings, or I didn't want to like get like really, like truthful about things and stuff. So that's kind of how I try to look at it now. Is just like, it's hard to be chingona. It's not easy to really be chingona. Yeah. It takes a lot of courage, and you put a lot on the line. Like you might almost get fired from your job, or your family might, whatever, turn their back on you. You're, who knows? You lose relationships sometimes, but it's just like, yeah, I don't want to like die and be on my deathbed and just be like, yeah, I kind of half-assed my life. That's how, I'd rather be like, you know what? I was chingona, even though I wasn't like, I'm chingona. You know what I mean? I was a quiet chingona.
There's nothing wrong with that. The work gets done in a variety of ways.
Exactly. Yeah. There's interpretations of chingona, and we need all the chingonas. Yeah. We need the different, like, I'm not going to even say levels or energies, but the different approaches to being a chingona. We need it all, we need, and they're all equally, sort of necessary. All of it's part of that puzzle, just to continue to progress all the inequities, that we face on a day-to-day level. And I think that, like, we could be chingonas in the level of even our families, like mujeres, like being chingonas, like in terms of advocating for their children. You could be a chingona in terms of making a meal. You could be it's like a chingona for me is like a literacy. Yeah. And so we could be literate. We can be that in a lot of different manners. We can have this high level of artistic chingonaness in things that we approach, and we all approach things differently. There's no one way. But we need us all. We need the sort of undercut. Correct. We need the sort of the over. We need the loudspeakers. We need the little soft thingy in our chingadera in our ears. We need it all. We need it all.
Yeah, we need all the help we can get.
There's more than one way to bake a cake.
Yeah, and I see Ana as a muy chingona.
Yeah, she is.
In terms of continuing, just your through line, your narrative is so like specific, when you go after it, it's like, it's very specific in your work. And that's like something to really appreciate and really value, that chingonaness.
Yeah. Doing groundbreaking work, doing work that you're passionate about, doing work that's purposeful, doing work with the mission, all of the work that, you all have laid out. It comes from a spirit of activism, of uplifting certain communities that have been, underserved, underspoken to. And so we've got a lot of work on the table, but y'all do it in a graceful, artistic way. So I appreciate you. I love your hat tonight, Ana. I love Mari's earrings and the spiked. Does she have spiked boots on to match her jacket? Who knows? Who knows?
Oh no, look at her.
No, I have sneakers.
She's gonna stomp on someone on the way out of here with those spiked boots at karaoke tonight.
Yeah, maybe I'll change.
I got like some.
Oh, you did.
Oh.
Yeah. I would just show everybody my chonas. Okay, never mind.
You're good. Don't worry. We got different camera angles. We're gonna edit this. And so, listen, I'll let y'all get the closing words as we get ready to conclude the show. Again, it's always a pleasure to sit down and break bread, roll some masa with y'all. But tell us some closing words. Anything you want to put on the table? Any updates on shows? Any closing words for the good of the order? And we'll let you go first, Ana.
Oh man, I just want to say again, gracias for inviting us here, Maximo. And then just to, again, to recap, if you want to celebrate, World AIDS Day and support the LGBTQ community, there's like a ton of events going on. You can follow me on my social media, anadeluna.com or Facebook, Instagram. I'll be posting like some badass stuff that's going on. I'll be there doing like some like live like testing, HIV testing demos, and just kind of like pay respect to that and have fun and party too.
Yes, great combo.
I want to give a shout out to my daughter, even though she's at the Judas Priest concert right now and not listening. Maybe like
she'll see the replay
in 10 years when she's doing a research project, maybe she'll like bring this up. And I just want to give her a shout out. I'm very proud and I'm getting teary eyed right now because it really touches me in terms of might I say even that's my dearest project that I've ever engaged with. And I'm very proud of the woman she's become and is becoming. And I just can't wait to see how her story continues to play out. I'm so proud of that. She's obsessed with going to the gym, with making just the right espresso in the morning, with being so happy with eating oatmeal banana laced with agave, like in the mornings, and also asking for writing edits. I think this past year has been so special because she's been applying to college. And even though she wants to leave, and I'm supporting that, I can't wait to spend Christmas and my birthday in CDMX this year. So because I know that these moments are becoming less and less in terms of just the time she has with me before she goes off and spreads her wings.
Well, good for you, Madi. It's always a pleasure, and I thank you for sharing that moment. And shout out to you. Shout out to all the parents that have poured their heart and soul into their kids. Parenting is not easy. Yeah. But it's the best job in the world. Yeah. If you could call it a job or just
your father, you're in it.
Yeah.
You're in it. We're in it, and it embraces our soul, our being. It has its up and downs, obviously, but really at the core of it, it's like it's supporting humanity, by being so specific on one other individual. And that's such a gift.
It is. And I can't think of any better way to end the show, but I'm going to give you a big hug, girl, because I love y'all to death. And that's a great moment. I see you in tears.
Well, because it's so real, so depressing right now. I appreciate it.
No, but that's real. That's live. And again, to all the parents and those, if you have the opportunity, man, hug your loved ones, tell them you love them, tell them you care about them. If there's anything that we can take away from this week is to be with family, right? If you can, keep your loved ones close, give you hugs when you can.
The family that not necessarily that you're born into, but the ones you choose. And I have a nice Friendsgiving the next day.
There you go.
Some other, people that chose me. So that's
it's
awesome.
All love. It should be about love, and we need to spread more love, and that's what we're doing at this table. Thank you so much, folks, for watching tonight. Follow them on social media. This is VodPod Media, the Maximo Show, every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central. That's it. That's the show. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much.